What's happening? What's happening, fam? This is Talis Ford with Just Cut Salons, coming out of Calvert County, Maryland. And what we're gonna talk about today, real quick, is solo operators. All right, a lot of you guys are solo out there, and you're doing real well. All right, but I want to pose this question to you guys, real quick, or the scenario. Now, if you were solo and you were doing a good job, right? Chances are you're going to start to get referrals and your business is going to grow, all right? So you're going to start to get more customers, more accounts, more work. So as you do that, all right, if you're solo, you're going to have to start thinking about getting, an employee. You have to need help, all right? Because once I was solo, when I started out, I started out a couple of times solo, all right? And I understand why you start out solo, because you want basically all the money. You don't want the headache. And what I would say is this: eventually you're going to have to consider getting an employee. All right. And what I would say is that you're going to have to, you got to strongly consider. So when you do that, all right, first let's get this out the way right now. All right. When you start to look for an employee or a helper, all right, you're gonna run through them. Okay, when I mean run through them, I mean you're gonna go through a lot of guys. All right, because some guys gonna come through the door. Hey, I know how to do this. I'm gonna taught how to do this. I can do this, and they don't pan out. All right, this profession is not for everybody. All right, they're gonna get out there, and that sun gonna do something to you. All right, it's gonna do something to you when you have to either you're gonna fold or you're gonna make it. All right, so you're gonna lose guys like that. But what I would say is this: you gotta keep going, all right? You gotta keep looking, you gotta keep working. You gotta decide right away, all right? I'm gonna go through a lot, but what do I need? Okay, do I need a helper? Or do I need, someone skilled, and, someone highly skilled and can step in and come in and do whatever, all right? There's advantages to both, all right? And here's what I would say: if you get a helper, all right, chances are that person's not going to know anything about lawn care. All right, he's not going to know your system. So you have to teach him everything, which is not always bad because you're teaching him your system. And just like in sports, if they run your system, all right, it'll be catered towards you, all right, in the way you do things. And things, once they come around, it's going to be cool. All right. However, if you use that first method, what I would say is this: you have to be patient. You have to be patient. And you have to be patient. They're not going to do everything like you, all right? They're not going to move the way you move, all right? But you got to look at it this way: you're training them. If they're eager to learn, you have to be patient, and you have to train them the correct way. Train them how you want them to do. Now, in training them, you have to have protocols. It's going to force you to have protocols, all right? How do you do things, all right? Because you're solo, you're used to doing things one way. When you get that helper, you have to develop a system. Why? Because he may not be the first. All right, so he may not be the only one. So you got to be able to train them, okay? And when training them, you have to have patience. Okay, now once you get that guy going, all right, I would say it would take 6 months to a year to get a guy that's trained on board. Like with my son, he started out working with me, and he was real young. Like, he was really young, and he moved slow at times. And I'm like, come on, man, move faster. I'm twice your age, and I'm moving faster than you. But some of these young guys, they want to be cool and walk slow. You got to deal with that, and that's okay. All right, because eventually they're going to come around. All right, so you got to train them. You got to be patient with them. All right, and they'll come around. It's going to take a good year for them to learn your system. All right, so you got to invest. It's an investment with the young guy. So I would say, you training him. He knows your system, and by him being young, he'll be with you for a while. You start him out with, whatever the pay is, and you can bump him up as he grows, as he learns. He gets a better salary. All right, that's the advantages of the first one. All right, the second one is you get an experienced guy who's gonna come in. He's basically a hired gun. All right, a hired gun is just that. He's been around. He worked with a couple of companies before, and he knows what he's doing a little bit. The problem with them is they think they know everything and they learn someone else's system. All right, so they have to be retaught. You got to recalibrate them. All right, this is how I do things. We probably trim first. There's some guys who like to trim first and then they cut. Whatever your system is, that's your system. However, when you get a hired gun, one, he knows somebody else's system. Two, sometimes you can't tell him anything. All right, and three, you have to pay him. Okay, and it's still going to be a learning curve with that hired gun. Now, it's going to be a faster learning curve because he's been out there, he's experienced, so he knows what he's doing. But that's up to you. All right. What I would say is this: you got to decide when you are looking for an employee. Do you want a helper or do you want a hired gun? Okay. There are advantages and disadvantages to both. All right. And I would say, if you starting out, you starting on the business, get a helper. All right. Get a helper because you grow with your helper. All right. If you've been out there for a minute, and you kind of seasoned, get a hired gun because you don't have time to teach a guy to deal with the rigmaroles, to deal with the BS. You don't have time for that. So you might want to go with a hired gun. All right. But you have to decide what you want as you grow. Remember, 2 men can do more work than 1. All right. So you solo guys out there, you out there killing yourselves, working, 15-hour days, and you're making all this money, but you're killing yourself. Get some help. All right. Get some help. It's going to take time. Get some help. Why? Because eventually, if that help pans out, it will allow you to grow. And eventually, you may scale back or you may decide to go into different avenues while they continue to, cut grass or landscape or do whatever they want to do. All right. So that's just my thought. I'm going to educate. I'm going to elevate, and I'm going to encourage you guys out there. If you solo, if you want to cruise, hit me back. Let me know what you've done differently. Okay, how you got your guys, all right? I'm telling you, for me, I had to run through a lot of guys. But you got to be patient. Why? Because you're looking at the long haul, All right, hit like, all right, hit subscribe. All right, let me know what you think, all right? Thank you for watching. Talents Forward, Just Cuss Lawns. Peace.